Hello students, let us come to the next and last chapter, prevertebral and paravertebral regions. Prevertebral region means the area in front of the vertebral column. So prevertebral region contains prevertebral muscles, which are 4 in number, vertebral artery which passes through the vertebral foramen of cervical vertebrae, and joints of the neck that are formed between the occipital bone and the atlas or axis vertebra. Trachea and esophagus are also included in the contents of prevertebral region. These are the structures present in the median plane in front of vertebral column. Paravertebral region means, para means along the vertebral column. So paravertebral region contains scalene muscles, which are 3 in number. Cervical pleura is there. Cervical plexus is present in paravertebral region, which is present above the brachial plexus. So first of all comes to prevertebral muscles. Prevertebral muscles are 4 in number. These are present in front of the vertebral column and behind the prevertebral fascia. Means vertebral column and prevertebral fascia, in between these structures lies the prevertebral muscles. These muscles are longus colli or longus cervicis muscle, longus capitis muscle, rectus capitis lateralis and rectus capitis anterior muscle. These muscles extends from base of skull to superior mediastinum. They partially covers the anterior aspect of the vertebral column. These are weak flexors of the head and neck. First muscle is longus colli muscle. Longus colli muscle is a long muscle. It extends from atlas vertebra, which is visible here, first cervical vertebra, to the third thoracic vertebra. It has 3 parts: upper oblique part, lower oblique part, and middle vertical part. Means its fibers run obliquely in the upper and lower part, and fibers runs vertically in the middle portion of the muscle. Before discussing about the origin and insertion of these muscles, we should know about certain parts of the cervical vertebra. So this is the typical cervical vertebra. It is having a body, transverse process in which foramen transversarium is there and vertebral artery is passing, and the transverse process itself is divisible into 2 tubercles, anterior tubercle, posterior tubercle, and both the tubercles are separated by this area known as costotransverse bar, over which passes the root and trunk of the cervical spinal nerve. Then superior articular facet, vertebral arch, lamina, this whole is the vertebral arch, and then spinous process. So mainly tubercles of the transverse process, these are the parts concerned with origin and insertion of these muscles. So origin of longus colli muscle, first of all comes to upper oblique part of the muscle. Upper oblique part arises from anterior tubercles of transverse processes of 3rd, 4th and 5th cervical vertebra. Insertion of the upper part. The muscle fibers passes from lateral side to the medial side and from below upwards and reaches the atlas bone and insert on the anterior tubercle of the atlas bone. That is the first cervical vertebra. Lower oblique part arises from bodies of 2nd and 3rd thoracic vertebrae, and the fibers run upwards and laterally and insert in the anterior tubercles of transverse processes of 5th and 6th vertebrae, 5th and 6th cervical vertebrae. So here Lateral fibers, these are the part of lower oblique part of this muscle, and these medial fibers, these are the fibers of middle vertical part, because the origin of lower oblique part and middle vertical part in its lower aspect arises from almost same structures, that is second and third thoracic vertebrae. Then origin of middle vertical part. So this part arises from bodies of upper 3 thoracic vertebrae and lower 3 cervical vertebrae. So up to this area is the origin of this muscle, middle vertical part. Then insertion. Middle vertical part extends upwards and slightly medially and insert in the bodies of second, third and fourth cervical vertebrae. Nerve supply of the muscle. This muscle is supplied by ventral rami of nerves C3 to C8. Action of the muscle. This muscle is responsible for flexion of neck, means forward bending of the neck. Oblique parts flex the neck laterally, means these fibers are responsible for lateral bending of the neck. Lower oblique part rotates the neck to opposite side, means if the muscle of right side is working, it is responsible for rotating the neck to the left side. Next muscle is longus capitis muscle. This muscle overlaps the longus colli muscle. It is thick above and narrow below. Origin of muscle. The muscle arises from anterior tubercles of transverse processes of cervical vertebrae 3 to 6. So third, fourth, fifth, sixth cervical vertebrae. The anterior tubercle of transverse processes of these vertebrae give origin to this muscle. Then the muscle fibers runs upwards and slightly medially and insert on the inferior surface of basilar part of occipital bone. So here scalenus medius muscle seems to lie very much close to this muscle. Nerve supply. Ventral rami of nerves C1 to C3 supply this muscle, and action of muscle is flexion of the head, means forward bending of the rectus capitis anterior muscle. This is a very short muscle and flat muscle. It lies deeper to the upper part of longus capitis muscle. Origin of muscle. This muscle arises from anterior surface of lateral mass of atlas vertebra in front of occipital condyle, and then its fibers runs upwards and medially and insert on the basilar part of occipital bone close to the longus capitis muscle. Nerve supply. This muscle is supplied by ventral ramus of first cervical nerve, and action of muscle is flexion of the head. Next muscle is rectus capitis lateralis muscle. It is also a short and flat muscle. Origin of the muscle. This muscle arises from upper surface of transverse process of the atlas vertebra. Insertion of the muscle. Insertion is on the inferior surface of jugular process of occipital bone. Nerve supply is ventral rami of nerves C1 and C2. Action of this muscle is lateral flexion of the head, means flexing the or bending the head on the lateral side. Next comes to the muscles of paravertebral region that are also known as scalene muscles. These are three muscles: scalenus anterior, scalenus medius and scalenus posterior. Out of these three muscles, scalenus medius is the largest muscle and scalenus posterior is the smallest muscle. These muscles extend from transverse processes of cervical vertebrae to the upper two ribs. So these muscles either elevate the ribs upwards or bend the vertebral column laterally. Sometimes in some persons an extra and rudimentary muscle is also present known as scalenus minimus muscle. It arises from anterior border of transverse process of 7th cervical vertebra and is inserted into the inner border of the first rib behind the groove for subclavian artery, means from this area to this area of the first rib this muscle extends. This suprapleural membrane is considered as the expansion of the scalenus minimus muscle. Contraction of scalenus minimus muscle pulls the dome of the cervical pleura. Scalenus anterior muscle is the key muscle of lower part of the neck because of its intimate relation to many important structures present in the lower part of the neck area. It is an useful surgical landmark. This is scalenus anterior muscle and it is related anteriorly to the clavicle bone, sternocleidomastoid muscle, internal jugular vein which is present in the lateral aspect of the carotid sheath. So it is also related to lateral part of carotid sheath, and also phrenic nerve which crosses from this area. This is scalenus anterior muscle. So posterior to scalenus anterior lies the subclavian artery, brachial plexus, scalenus medius muscle, and the cervical pleura. This is cervical pleura in pink color which is covered by suprapleural membrane, green color structure visible in the diagram. So let us discuss scalene muscles in detail. First muscle is scalenus anterior muscle. Origin of the muscle. This muscle arises from anterior tubercles of transverse processes of cervical vertebrae 3, 4, 5, 6. Then insertion. The muscle fibers run downwards and laterally and insert on the scalene tubercle and adjoining ridge present on the superior surface of first rib between the subclavian artery and subclavian vein. Nerve supply. This muscle is supplied by ventral rami of nerves C4 to C6. Action of the muscle. This muscle is responsible for anterolateral flexion of the cervical spine, rotates the cervical spine to opposite side, elevate the first rib during inspiration, and stabilizes the neck with other muscles. Next muscle is scalenus medius muscle. This is larger muscle and present behind the scalenus anterior and also covered by some portion of the scalenus anterior muscle. So in this diagram we can see the scalenus anterior muscle is cut down to expose the origin of scalenus medius muscle. Origin of scalenus medius. This muscle arises from posterior tubercles of transverse processes of cervical vertebrae C3, C4, C5, C6 and C7. Sometimes transverse processes of C2 and C1 also take part in giving origin to the muscle fibers. Then insertion of the muscle. The muscle fibers descend downwards and slightly laterally and insert in the superior surface of first rib behind the groove for subclavian artery. The nerve supply of the muscle. It is supplied by ventral rami of nerves C3 to C8. Action of muscle is lateral flexion of the cervical spines, elevation of first rib, and stabilizes the neck along with other muscles. Next muscle is scalenus posterior muscle. It is a small muscle. Origin of muscle. The muscle fibers arises from posterior tubercle of transverse processes of vertebrae, cervical vertebrae, C4, C5 and C6. Then insertion of the muscle. Muscle insert on the outer surface of the second rib behind the tubercle for serratus anterior muscle. Nerve supply. This muscle is supplied by ventral rami of nerves C6 to C8. Action is lateral flexion of the cervical spine, elevation of first rib and stabilizing the neck along with other muscles. So in this way, these scalene muscles, these are having common action over the vertebral column. These are responsible for lateral bending of the neck. These provide stability to the neck and these are also responsible for elevation of the first and second rib.